So what's good, everyone? This your main correspondent, Alan Taylor, and I'm back in the broadcast room. So this is where we at now. Okay. For the past, week or so, things like that, it's been popping off. So apparently at first, um, Israel decided to, fire the button first. They went into Iran first and decided to, bomb Iran, things like that. Now, we got President Trump sending in the big bombers and stuff like that for the nuclear sites and stuff. And it's just, it's crazy to me because at the same time, though, too, yes, I mean, technically, we wanted no new wars. And I'm still on board with saying that the Russia-Ukraine conflict, I don't think has been truly resolved yet either. So it's a crazy scenario that we're in. This is wild right here. We definitely have a lot of stuff at home that we need to fix here. I don't understand. I really don't even know what's all this clinging to, Israel and things like that. But I've heard things behind the scenes about Israel having certain, definitely financial power and other little things over here in America that, it just is what it is. But we're going to dive off into this and see what the president have to say. And then we're going to get to an FBI agent that's, I guess, kind of giving a warning about sleeper cells from Iran that possibly could be in the United States. So let's go here now. Quarters, nickels, and dimes, people.
The U.S. military carried out massive precision strikes on the three key nuclear facilities in the Iranian regime: Fordow, Natanz, and Esfahan. Everybody heard those names for years as they built this horribly destructive enterprise. Our objective was the destruction of Iran's nuclear enrichment capacity and a stop to the nuclear threat posed by the world's #1 state sponsor of terror. Tonight, I can report to the world that the strikes were a spectacular military success. Iran's key nuclear enrichment facilities have been completely and totally obliterated. Iran, the bully of the Middle East, must now make peace. If they do not, future attacks will be far greater and a lot easier. For 40 years, Iran has been saying death to America, death to Israel. They have been killing our people, blowing off their arms, blowing off their legs with roadside bombs. That was their specialty. We lost over 1,000 people, and hundreds of thousands throughout the Middle East and around the world have died as a direct result of their hate. In particular, so many were killed by their general, Qasem Soleimani. I decided a long time ago that I would not let this happen. It will not continue. I want to thank and congratulate Prime Minister Bibi Netanyahu. We worked as a team like perhaps no team has ever worked before. And we've gone a long way to erasing this horrible threat to Israel. I want to thank the Israeli military for the wonderful job they've done. And most importantly, I want to congratulate the great American patriots who flew those magnificent machines tonight, and all of the United States military on an operation the likes of which the world has not seen in many, many decades. Hopefully, we will no longer need their services in this capacity. I hope that's so. I also want to congratulate the chairman of the Joint Chiefs of Staff, General Dan Raisin-Kane, spectacular general, and all of the brilliant military minds involved in this attack. With all of that being said, this cannot continue. There will be either peace or there will be tragedy for Iran far greater than we have witnessed over the last 8 days. Remember, there are many targets left. Tonight's was the most difficult of them all, by far, and perhaps the most lethal. But if peace does not come quickly, we will go after those other targets with precision, speed, and skill. Most of them can be taken out in a matter of minutes. There's no military in the world that could have done what we did tonight, not even close. There has never been a military that could do what took place just a little while ago. Tomorrow, General Kane, Secretary of Defense, Pete Hegseth will have a press conference at 8 a.m. at the Pentagon. And I want to just thank everybody, and in particular, God. I want to just say we love you, God, and we love our great military. Protect them. God bless the Middle East. God bless Israel, and God bless America. Thank you very much.
Okay, so this is where we get here. We heard what Trump had to say, things like that. So yeah, you know, and since I've been growing up, stuff like that, I've heard, Israel, I mean, not Israel, but I've heard Iran say such things and stuff like that. I don't know, if anybody else out there, I'm over 40. So growing up, definitely in the 90s, I've heard, on the news, seen them wave their flags, all types of stuff. Now I'm not denying that Iran has, not wanted, to get rid of America. I'm not denying that at all. But definitely at this point in time and things like that to, make this move, behind the scenes, who really knows what's going on with the behind the scenes chatter and stuff like that. We also had from what I've heard and things like that, there also were Russian scientists that were working in Iran at some point. So who knows about that, how that's going to go down. And it's just a lot. It's a lot going on with this situation right here with Iran. And it's crazy. And it's also, needing to, a lot more information needs to come to light, but I'm pretty sure it's not, because some of the stuff probably going to be sensitive information that's on a need to know basis for the people that only need to know, and definitely not the American public or the public period. But man, this is wild right here. This is where we're at right now. So, Iran is they've also strike back on Israel. They've also been threatening to, strike our military bases that are in the Middle East. I think we have like something like maybe 40,000 soldiers or something like that consistently in the Middle East and the bases over there. Yeah, so this is where we at here. We're going to keep going because I want to get to the lady, the FBI agent lady, and see what she has to say about this. Let's go here now.
Security contributor, former staff operations officer for the CIA's Counterterrorism Center, also formerly with the FBI with us now. Tracy, good to see you. Perfect guest for this. As I watched cable news all day today, it said on the bottom of the screen, "Does Iran have sleeper cells?" ? And I thought to myself, it would be more shocking if they didn't have people that they'd infiltrated over the southern border in the past 4 years than if they did.
Well, thank you for having me, Leland. And you're absolutely right. I don't even understand why this is a question. I hate to be so blunt, but that's how I feel about it. They have sleeper cells here. They have, quite frankly, for decades. I don't actually think that this is new. I think we may have more of an influx, right, that we're discussing, but this isn't new. They're here. They have been here. They are just waiting for the right moment. And the fact that we're curious and questioning as to whether or not they're here is actually very shocking to me.
All right. So the Ayatollah, America will suffer if America gets involved in the war. Take a listen.
America's intervention in this matter is 100% to their detriment. What they will suffer in this regard is much greater than what Iran may suffer. The damage America will suffer if it makes a military intervention in this field will undoubtedly be irreparable.
What does a sleeper cell attack look like? Is this another 9/11 or something different?
I think it could be a combination. I actually don't think it's going to look like a 9/11 type attack, a very complex attack. That's really what 9/11 was. It required a lot of money, a lot of financing, and a lot of planning. I don't think that's what we're going to see here because obviously the world has changed, right, in the last 25 years. And there's been a lot of success in these kind of lone wolf or inspired by attacks. And so I think they're going to be kind of more lone wolf style. I also think that we could be looking at attacks.
Now, before she keeps going, I'm kind of on board with what she's saying to a degree. If you just really think this through, the lone wolf scenario, and I don't think it's just necessarily lone wolf. I think if they, of course, I think every country has sleeper cells in each other's country. Just being honest with you, sleeper cells or some type of spies or something. We got spies somewhere. The rest of the countries got spies over here. It's just, we got people of other countries got people everywhere. As we do too. Let's just keep this honest here. And it just is what it is. Now, as far as on the sleeper cells and things like that, I really do believe that, a lot of other countries do have sleeper cells over here. And I think that definitely with this border situation that's been very open for quite some time now, it's a lot of people that are over here that are truly working with their home countries and stuff like that, but they're landing extremely low. They're not out here protesting and stuff like that. These people have linked up with individuals that are over here that have decent amounts of financing that's probably got them ducked off somewhere that ICE and all them people would never even think to look or go to. And they're ducked off waiting on signals or whatever time. I don't think I don't think the situation is going to involve just loose leaf people, people that'll get out there and protest or just, work a normal job or something like that. I think these true sleeper cells are individuals that, like I said, are over here with the proper financing, and they are ducked off heavily. They're heavily ducked off. They don't have to go outside for food, and all of a sudden they don't have to move around a lot. So they're not going to be seen a lot.
To our critical infrastructure as well that we are not expecting. So I think it's going to look less like a 9/11 style attack, sort of shock and awe, if you will, and more in an unsuspecting way. And I actually am very concerned about our critical infrastructure.
Yeah, you think about July 4th coming up, that would be target number one. Every city and town in America has gatherings, and we know what can happen at big gatherings. History of sleeper cells in the United States. Obviously, the Soviet Union was some of the best at having their illegals. The World Trade Center bombing, the Millennial Plot, September 11th, Detroit sleeper cell, Disneyland plot.
Okay, here we go. Let's see. Closer, CGA. Let me see. Okay. Wow. 2002.
Hezbollah operative arrests. How do you find, and I hate to use the sort of cliche, I don't think you're looking for a needle in a haystack. You're looking for a needle in a hay field or hay barn, right?
You're absolutely right. It's near impossible to find these individuals because, as you mentioned before, some of them did not enter the U.S. legally, but some of them actually are homegrown, right? So we have this combination that makes it incredibly difficult to identify individuals that might not even come up on our radar. I mean, even if you go back as far as to September 11th, right? Those individuals had actually entered the U.S. legally. Had we checked their visas properly, obviously we would have known because we know that now. But that's the difficult part of all of this. They lead these seemingly normal lives, right? Drawing no attention to themselves whatsoever. But they have to get messages in some way. They have to get a signal in some way. And that's where I'm hoping they will slip up and we will ultimately catch them.
Thank you.
And I definitely dig that. Shout out to that situation. Hold on here. I really think that, it's definitely possible that we do have sleeper cells over here. You saw the stats and stuff like that they put up, the different years and decades that they caught sleeper cells basically over here. The 9/11 situation, she said they came over here legally. That was something I didn't know. And it just is what it is, man. It is what it is. So, we got a lot of holidays coming up and things like that, major events in this country. And we're just at the point to where, we definitely have to watch out. Now, like I said, man, I'm not for no new wars. I'm really not. I don't want to be in no wars in this country. Of course, that's not what I voted for and things like that. That's not what a lot of people voted for. But at this point, for us to, this is where we at though. And I'm just going to leave it like this. Israel pushed the button first. And as Israel ally, we've been allies with Israel for God knows how long in this country, pretty much almost since this country was founded, almost. And, for a very long time, we've been Israel's ally. And now they've called upon us to really indulge in the things that they have going on. And Jesus Christ, man, this ally situation, sometimes it's just like having friends and stuff like that. Sometimes friends can get you into trouble, whether you knowingly going to get into trouble or unknowingly. It's complicated, but it is what it is though. When you have friends, you got to watch who you're friends with and stuff like that, or who you pledge your allegiance to. But it is what it is, though. Shout out to all my subscribers. Mad love to y'all if you're new to the channel. Please hit that like, share, subscribe button. Make sure you ring that bell to be notified whenever I decide to post things. And like I always say,
and that, my friends, is the bottom line.
That, my friends, is the bottom line.